Could changing this one mechanic completely overhaul the game Project Playtime? Hello everyone and welcome to another video on the channel. Today we are talking some Project Playtime. Now of course I know it isn't a theory video, it's more of like a topical discussion if you will. If you're new to the channel, my name is just Jordan of course, and of course we make theories on all games. At the moment we're currently making them on Project Playtime, Poppy Playtime and Little Nightmares and so on and so forth. So if this appeals to you, make sure you hit like and subscribe, you know, do all the YouTubery stuff. But with that out the way, I want to talk a little bit about what was shared recently by Mob Games. Now of course going into this is going to contain possibly some spoilers of course for Project Playtime, Poppy Playtime, but with that being said, let's actually talk about it. So, Project Playtime originally tweeted a new experimental game mode called Tag, and they wanted to get the community's feedback about it. Now, this was posted, of course, at 4 o'clock on the 16th of April, 2023. In this Project Playtime video, we are shown a very blocked out testing level. This blocked out phase is usually referred to by game devs as a way to test out features and prototypes, which is, of course, what they're doing at the moment. This explains why we get a few fonts and text appear over certain objects in the scene. A lot of it more scenery measurements more than anything. As you can see, for instance, in the first frame, you can see that a wall is a certain height and diameter, and of course, all the axis info they need for the in-engine. So, of course, they're telling us they're testing out a game mode called Tag. Now we can see all the usual UI elements that you would expect from something like a multiplayer tag game. So, of course, a scoreboard, timer, and a round count. Now, I think at the moment the round count would go up to about 3. It depends on the timer, but we might get more into that in a minute. So from the same frame, we can actually see that the grab pack can interact with certain parts of the scene and certain objects. As you can see, there is a ledge type deal, which is coloured purple. And I assume from what I'm seeing so far that you can use the grab pack as a way to fly about the map, only using these special ledges or items that will be in the map. Being able to fly is one great thing, I imagine, but there's also one interesting thing that I think is quite overlooked here, and it's actually the possibility of actually pushing yourself from the floor to give you some sort of airtime, if you will. It actually looks quite interesting, especially for like gameplay and movement. Something quite interesting I did ponder about was actually, are these going to be features we could well see in Chapter 3? Now, they are applicable to a chapter, and of course single player would be a little bit more easier to code for the devs, so I cannot see why they wouldn't actually add that. So I'm assuming that we could well be looking at mechanics for Chapter 3, but who knows? So of course we get a bit of footage of them actually playing the game mode Tag, and of course they say to us the goal is simple. All you gotta do is tag a player. To tag a player, all you need to do is actually hit them multiple times with the grab pack, and this will deplete their health. Of course it's a very simple system, similar to of course normal game modes in Project Playtime. And of course the caveat to that is that if you get hit too many times you will also die, but it doesn't seem that you can be revived. It does seem to be one of those modes that once you get killed or get tagged in the game mode, you will respawn at the base, and I think that's what's going to happen in this scenario. I think this is heavily indicated by the kill cam that you sort of get towards the end. One thing I do notice from this little video is actually something that is quite interesting. It looks in the distance as if there are pickup items, so of course there could be power-ups, anything from distance, movements, anything. So that is also a very interesting element to add to this multiplayer. I think on the whole it looks absolutely fantastic, and I believe this could aid Project Playtime completely. So here is where Project Playtime is about to take a massive pivotal turn. Of course, Project Playtime was built from the ground up thinking about the monsters as the main element. And of course it works very well for tying us over till Chapter 3 and everything in between. But there's something Project Playtime needs, something more, and I believe this is what's been missing. This opens up Project Playtime to a further range of game modes and of course approaches to how the game could work with multiplayer in a wider and a larger audience. And I say this because now to me, of course, Playtime Co. is a place for the children, where they make toys. Of course, they're going to be testing stuff on children all the time. Now, I believe with Project Playtime, they could even twist it in a certain way that all these sort of game modes that they could create now could take place in Playtime Co, as in like a simulation, if you will. And it's of course an interesting theme to have, because of course with all these children, automatically you can assume of things like children's games. So I have a few ideas straight away for what you could have as a game mode going into this new approach for Project Playtime, in a way to play with different players, PvE, PvP, you know, anything in between. So for instance, you could have something like Capture the Mascot, which is basically capture the flag, but the flag itself is an actual toy from Playtime Co, so think of something like Huggy Wuggy, Kissy Missy, Bron. Each team will get to select their own mascot at the start of the round, and of course it will go from there. Each mascot would determine the theme for a home base for each side of the team. And of course, the environment would pose a threat to every player trying to get it back. And of course, the players have to snatch and steal the flags left, right, and center, do all the usual capture the flag stuff. And to carry on the whole playground theme, you could do a What's the Time Mr. Wolf version. So if they have a new mascot at Playtime Co, that's like the wolf theme, you could have something like What's the Time Mr. Wilson. If you have any better wolf mascots names, let me know in the comments below. But of course, that game would be similar to Red Light and Green Light, but of course with the Project Playtime twist. You know, you could have 10 or 12 players join a single lobby, and this be PvE. The maps, of course, could be large, but they'd have to be sort of a one-way type deal. And one of the catches to this game mode could be that the mascots could come from the ceiling and take whoever is moving when it, of course, is red light. This then in turn triggers the other players to panic when they see a mascot jump out of thin air, taking whoever moved, and cause more domino effects. And of course, gameplay could be spiced up by having each player sabotage each other with some powerful pickups, or something similar. And perhaps even something like the floor is gas, and of course this could be a play on Chapter 3. Of course we don't know exactly what's happening in Chapter 3, but we know there's a lot of gas. Similar to the floor is lava type deal, 10 and 12 players would sort of join a single lobby, PvE again, power-ups, all the usual stuff. Similar to the Fall Guys hexagon, players would of course fight over the last remaining tiles on the floor, and the last few people would have to swing on the last remaining environment pieces that can be swung on, and of course it's the last one standing. And that also brings me to another idea that you could easily implement for these type of multiplayer games, which I would call silly swinging or something close to that. But it would, again, be something like 10 to 12 players, single lobby, PvE, and this would just effectively be a race mode where each player tries to outplay the other by getting to the checkered flag first. And, of course, the catch is you can't touch the ground. And, again, we can add sabotages and things like that. And, of course, checkpoints would be placed, because how frustrating would it be if you got a sabotage halfway through and you had to start all over again? And something like the theme of Mommy Longlegs could take that one and, of course, run with it. But, yeah, these are like some silly ideas that you can do with it. But relying solely on the mascots for the horror experience online, I think is a bit of an arrow in the knee. So them taking this approach is actually really refreshing, and I think probably the best thing they can do at the moment for Project Playtime. I feel like this is going to be a great way to refresh Project Playtime, so I hope they do continue these type of game modes that solely don't rely on the monsters. But again, I think this would be fun. From what I've seen in the video already on Twitter, I am more than excited for the game mode tag to be added. But again, let me know what you think in the comments below. And of course, if you enjoy Project Playtime and Poppy Playtime and game theories in general, make sure you hit like and subscribe. Do all the usual YouTubey stuff, help support the channel. And of course, we're going to be covering more Project Playtime, more Poppy Playtime as the year goes on and things get released as usual. You know, all the YouTubery stuff. Again, with that being said though, I hope you have a lovely morning, day or night wherever you are in the world. Let me know what you think. Let me know what you'd like to see added. Let me know if you think this is a good idea or not, or if you think they should just keep to the game mode they have currently. But yeah, with that being said, thank you so much for watching this video. I wish you well, and I'll see you all in the next theory video.